It's a marathon, you know, it's not going to happen overnight. I was just so much happier living my truth as opposed to just disguising what I wanted to do because I was scared. I think meeting him was probably the single most important thing that happened to my music career in college. Remember Me felt like a very, very special song to write and to dedicate to him and to immortalize this person in my life. My name is Rachel Rose. I grew up in Fairfield, Connecticut, a town that was very homogenous, and I was craving something different. I had always traveled to New York City with my family. There was so much life and music and plays and movies and everything. It felt like a dream. I'd seen like every single movie about New York, and I always knew that I wanted to be here.
When she was 4, we had a Thanksgiving party with the cousins, and Rachel sang One True Voice, which was a song that I believe Elmo sang on Sesame Street. Every song the world sings, each was once unknown. And she just blew everybody away. We knew she was going to be a star.
I was singing all the time. I was singing in the shower, I was singing upstairs, like in my bedroom. After I finished my homework in school, I would record these home videos on like whatever camera I could find in the house.
When she wants to do something, she will do whatever it takes to get where she wants to be.
Ooh, oh, yeah. I would probably describe my genre as folk, Americana, indie, singer-songwriter. I love kind of incorporating just a lot of different instruments, harmonies, melodies, stuff like that. I applied to 2 music schools. I applied to NYU and USC. NYU was like, no, right off the bat. And then I went down for an audition at USC, and they never called me back after that. When I moved, I was terrified. Like, I think growing up also in the East Coast, you know, Texas is never a place that I ever envisioned wanting to go. But as soon as I visited the school, I was like, I'm just in love with this place. I think I just wanted to go to a place where I didn't know anyone and I could just figure out who I was.
I remember this was the first weekend we took Rachel to school. I was looking around for musical things to get involved in, and I walked into this room and I said, my daughter wants to be a singer. She said, you should track down Gary Powell. He does this ensemble group.
He just kind of sat down at the piano and he's like, all right, let's just sing something. And so he starts playing and I start singing, and I have my guitar with me too, so I'm playing guitar and he's playing piano. And we finish and he looks at me and he's like, you must try out. I auditioned probably the next week. He sent me an email, I remember. It was like, you are unanimously accepted. I was just rejected from everything. Like, you know, I was rejected from every music school that I auditioned for. You know, even when I did the plays, like, I never got the part. I was always like passenger number 5 and Anything Goes, or like barbershop quartet girl. I think just having that win felt so nice. And I think it gave me the confidence to be like, you know, maybe I can do this. My relationship with Gary over the years of being in school just continued to grow. Like, he was such an amazing mentor and just became like one of my best friends in school. I would just go over to his house a lot, having dinner, and when I had graduated and moved to New York, you know, I still really wanted to keep that relationship with him and his wife, Amy. I could hold my hand to time
and tell myself as it passes by.
Yeah, I remember one day meeting up with my dad during my lunch break, and we went into a local coffee shop right next to my work, and he sort of gave me this speech about if I wanted to go for my music, I had to go for it. I decided to quit my job in February of 2020.
I think I was a little worried about, how she was going to make ends meet, but I don't think I ever doubted her doing this.
When we started living together, she was pursuing music full time. And to me, that always made sense. I really couldn't imagine it otherwise.
There are definitely days that I'm terrified about making rent. I think in a freelance world, sometimes it's an overwhelming amount of jobs at once, and then sometimes it's like cricket, you're getting nothing for a while. And that's definitely a very scary thing living in New York where everything's expensive, and it's a very real thing that I think about all the time.
Rachel has a vision board in her room where she has index cards of all the things that she wants to accomplish, and they're arranged in a pyramid. So the bottom level is the things that she expects sooner to accomplish, more likely to accomplish, and then the very top of that is like the penultimate goal. And so I was just looking at it when I was talking with her one day, and I was like, I think we could take some of these down. Now, I think you accomplished at least a couple of these. And before we knew it, half of the board was gone. The two really interesting goals that we actually took down were Jimmy Fallon and Madison Square Garden.
He listens to all that I say and states all my objections. He grants my emotions frequently.
I pretty much went in the next day. They put me in this little green room. They gave me the prompt. I had to write about a haunted Airbnb. We had couple of hours to do everything. Just a crazy experience.
I knew I should have gone with my homestay today.
And I remember too, getting done and shaking Jimmy's hand and walking off the taping. And I remember my dad calling me right after, and he was like, "How'd you think you did?" And I was like, "Well, okay, I guess, I didn't win." And he was like, "You're kidding me, right? You're joking. You were just on the Tonight Show." And he was like, "I didn't want to tell you this because I knew it was going to freak you out, but I waited in line to enter the taping." So he basically had seen the taping live, and he was in the audience. And he was like, "You did amazing. It was amazing."
Please welcome Brooklyn recording artist Rachel Rose.
Oh, say,
Performing at a sold-out Madison Square Garden for the Rangers game. I've never sang for remotely close to 19,000 people before in my whole life. I run back to the green room and I just took a second for myself because I'm my heart is beating out of my chest right now. But yeah, it was amazing. I always kept in touch with him. Over the years, I would update him about music stuff, about songs that I was writing and everything. And I think I just started to notice, especially during COVID and in that period after that, the conversations with him that we were having on the phone and over email, it just felt different, I think. He would call me a couple times a week and not remember calling, and he would forget students' names, and he remembered everyone's name. He was always so involved in all the students' lives. And so I'd reached out to Amy, his wife, and kind of had asked her, is everything okay? And she had let me know that he had been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's.
don't look at me the same. Remember me.
I think our relationship after that, pivotally changed because I couldn't have the same conversations with him. And it was a weird feeling because he was still the same charismatic Gary. He was getting up and playing tennis and running around Austin and still playing music and still loved music. But he was just forgetting a lot of things and he wasn't quite there. Over the years that I've gone to visit him, his vision for music and stuff has kind of changed because his mind can't keep up. And that was really hard, and so I knew that I wanted to write Remember Me about Gary and about my relationship with him and about the feeling of having someone in your life who is physically all there but mentally may not be. In the chorus we have "Remember me when you can't recall the words."
The words to the refrain. Remember me when the seconds lost fall you out of time.
And I remember sending the song to his wife, and we got on the phone and we were just crying together because they meant so much to me, and I hope that I had an effect on them too. When I wrote it was at the point where he wasn't quite like understanding a lot, but she told me that he was kind of rocking back and forth, like listening to it when she'd played it for him. I felt like Gary really let us grow in that space. We were allowed to kind of do whatever we wanted, and he was supporting that. He was the one that kind of gave me the push to be like, you should do this. You should do this for your life. You should do this for your job. I think the song does a really nice job of just sort of encapsulating my relationship with him and being able to have something that lasts.
Just for you.